even with certain things being pretty raw or out of place, right? The original devices that we had for virtual reality didn't even have hand presence, right? They just had basically the headset, and it had this wire. So you kind of had this wire like wrapped around your neck because it had to go to a computer to power the thing. And it just over like every year we basically like knocked down one or two more barriers, right? So then we got Quest, which you got rid of the wire. You got it so that now you could run virtual reality at 1/50th or 1/100th of the compute power than what you have in a powerful desktop on just a with a mobile chip on your headset. Then we got hands, and the first set of hands were basically controllers, but now you're actually getting actual hand tracking with like all 10 fingers being able to be tracked in real time. In the next version that's coming out, we have sensors for your eyes so you can make realistic eye contact with someone in virtual reality. And just thinking about to what extent you can do without some of this stuff. Think about all the Zoom calls that you've been on over the last couple of years during COVID. There's no real eye contact over video conference.
Yeah.
Because your cameras are in different places. So,
yeah.
And even without that, it still gets you pretty far. So in VR today, adding realistic eye contact, each of these things, it's like, you kind of almost don't realize that you're missing them. And then when you have them, you're like, whoa, that's like a really core part of the human experience is being able to, make eye contact and hold eye contact with someone and like have that gaze. So I think you'll just add more things over time, right? More realistic expressions, more realistic avatars, going from kind of cartoon and stylistic and fun to photorealistic and having that work. And then at some point, I think you will get haptics. And, the way that we kind of think about, a haptic glove, for example, screens have resolutions, right? You think about how many pixels are on the screen, and you can actually think about haptics in your hand or anywhere else as basically also having a resolution. It's like how many kind of, pinpoints can it make across your hand, and your hand is super sensitive. So it can actually, your actual physical hand can have a very high amount of resolution for haptics. But when we first start getting haptics, they're not going to have that high of resolution, but it's still going to be amazing. And then every year they're going to get better and better and better. So I think that there's like quite a far roadmap on this, which is partially what makes it super exciting, right? It's like you can have realistically a 15-year roadmap of like, all right, what is it going to take to deliver the kind of virtual reality presence that you want to be, feel like you're physically there with another person. At the same time, augmented reality is a whole separate set of problems because now you're putting a hologram in the real world. So that's kind of a similar thing there. But being able to just work on a project that's like a 15-year project where there's a lot of it is an engineering problem that you just need to go build, but a lot of it is also unknown, right? So there's like 6 or 7 key unknowns that we just have like multiple teams going out and trying to attack different approaches at that. I just think it's a very fascinating and fun way to make progress. And of course, each year you're intercepting and launching a new product. So I find this to be some of the most exciting work that I've ever gotten to be a part of. And I hope that for the rest of my career that I get to engage in more projects that are sort of longer term oriented with this mix of engineering and science and kind of continual milestones. I think it's just a great way to make progress in the world.